Hello. So, we've got here this guitar, which I'm about to start levelling and crowning the frets, which I've just installed. Got the neck glued in and carved, almost ready to stand, ready for stain and finish. Sand, not stand. Stand for stain and finish, whatever, I'm insane. Anyway, stop waffling. So, I've got the fretboard taped off, as you can see here. Yeah, nice and simple. Bit of masking tape, push it up to the frets, smooth it off, run your nail up the other one. Oh, let's get a bit of tape on, no, that's too narrow. I'll show you. Easier. Bit of tape, on like that, push it up to the fret, smooth it off, get your fingernail in there, and then you just run along with a knife, like so. That's a terrible example, I've not cut it very well. Cut that out, we'll start again. Bit of tape, push it up to the fret there, run it in your fingernail up to the other one, run your knife down it, nice and smooth like that, fold it over, jobs are good. Right, oh yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, my camera just cut off. Well, say camera, phone. Anyway, right, so we've got it taped off. So, tools that we're going to need. One of these notched straight edges, which obviously got your two scale lengths, 25.5, 24.75. This one is a 25.5 inch. Now it has notches and all it does, either side of the frets like that, and it'll tell you if your fretboard is flat, which this is. I've already checked, so we're good to go there. And then, oh, Sharpie, that's missing. Yep, so we've got that. Two leveling beams. There's just a aluminium tube that's flat and level with different grits of sandpaper. Got 320 and a 240. Different lengths. The big one will do the main work, and then I have the short one then to do a little fall away at the end. We'll get to that when we get there. Files, 3-corner file, and we've got this, I don't know what, crowning file. So this has a round profile. This could be embarrassing if this doesn't work, but you know, we'll turn it around. Yeah, so that's a round profile in it. It's a diamond grit, so that will recrown the top of the frets once we've leveled them. 3-corner file then, just in case you don't get on with the fret crowning one. Sometimes I don't, depends what mood I'm in. Sometimes I do prefer this. We'll see how it goes. The idea is, briefly we mark it and then we have a line that we sort of file up to know that we've recrowned. This is just a flat file, has a safe edge on that I've ground flush, and this is just to get the edge of the fret, like so. You know, just to take any burrs off that, make that nice and smooth, and a Sharpie obviously for marking. So I shall start with this. We'll get all those burrs removed. Let me move that pencil out of the way. Get all these burrs removed off the fret edges, and basically all we do, have we got a piece of fret wire here, and all you're doing is just come in sort of round like so, and just take that corner off. The reason we have the safe edge is so that we don't go filing into the fretboard. Simple as that, so let's go. It doesn't need much, just a few tickles. Okie doke. There we go. So now that's done, we need the beam. First, Sharpie, and we just mark the tops. like so. Then we go on with the beam, and normally I'll use a 240, so we'll go see how that goes, because these are stainless frets, so obviously they take a bit more elbow grease to work. With normal nickel, you could just use a 320 for this. So yeah, 240 stainless. Long beam. Start about halfway, and I'll try to start an 8 and finish roughly in the same spot, so I get a full stroke of the beam across. So here we go. I'll just go up the middle, like so. Couple of those. Yeah, and then we move across. Try not to put too much pressure on, obviously because it's on this neck support here, so if I put too much pressure it could cause it to bow in the middle, which then you're obviously altering where you're taking off material. So yeah, sometimes if it was like a flat neck, you'd probably get away with it. It won't matter so much, but just because this has got a neck break angle, that's why it's supported up like that. So you've got that weak spot. So anyway, yeah, just a light pressure to just to take off at the top. So I'm gonna go back across this side. Okay, so I have pretty much sanded off all the Sharpie there, which is what we're looking for, which then shows us that the tops have all been touched by the sanding block to the same height. So I'm just checking, there's a couple over on this side. Go. Yep. Cool. So that's that, and then we'll come in with the short block, again 240. We're not going to re-sharpie this. Don't really need to, because all this is doing, this is where we create a fall away, which means that normally from around 12, now there's no front markers on this, I've got side dots there, so 12. So I use the short block, and we'll just give a few strokes, steady, from there, and then we just sort of graduate down, you know, so every couple of passes we'll move down a few frets, so the lower frets just take a little bit extra, you know, so they get a little bit lower, which means you can get your action right down. Not, I suppose, not going to be hugely important on this kind of guitar with the Tune-O-Matic bridge, and you got the neck angle. I don't know if you can see that there. But particularly, I've done a few Floyd Roses recently. Floyd Rose guitars, you know, loaded, waffling. So then, with that, you can get it right down and get a super low action and a nice smooth sort of playing across the fretboard. Seems to work. Everyone always compliments how nice they are to play and how great the action is, blah blah blah. Some people prefer higher one. That's cool. Anyway, yeah, so Jesus God, oh God, I waffle so much. Right, so I'm just going to go for this now, yeah, so here we go. Like so, and then we'll move, I don't know, 2 or 3 frets. And again. And again. And again. Just like that, and then we'll just go back. Something like that. And that is it. That should do all we need for the fall away. So, back out with the Sharpie. Oh, by the way, back on that fall away, some people will also tend to tape off the fret to give them, I don't know, point of reference, or you can put a couple of layers on. Just to build it up, and then you can, just like so, and then those extra layers of tape give you your angle, which will step it down. Either or, whichever works for you, really. I prefer doing it, open like that, because you can sort of work all the frets then, and then rather than just being right at the end, you get a nice sort of gradual slope. By the way, I hope you're staying entertained, and I do tend to drone, and when you sort of get into the zone, I kind of mumble and waffle. Anyway, try not to. This is a practice for when I get in the new workshop and really start bringing a YouTube channel to life. Got to be a YouTuber. I'll be famous. Right, let's remark the tops with this Sharpie. Now we've got them level, like so. There we go. That's good because you can feel when you mark. Then after that, you can feel the sanding marks, which means that you've touched them all. Sometimes some of them have. Just get this out. This is what I use to put the bevel on the side. Blah blah blah, like so. Now, sometimes things happen and hands slip, and occasionally you'll catch the top of the frets. When you're using that, if you get a bit carried away and a bit giddy. So you'll be able to feel, if you've done that, you'll be able to feel if it's still in there after you've levelled when you mark it with the Sharpie. I hope this makes sense. So we've done that. So now this is where you choose your weapon, the crowning file or the 3-corner file. Let's go with the crowning file and see how that goes for a start. And all you do is just file back and forth like that, following the shape of the fret, whilst looking for the Sharpie line. So you look for that sort of getting smaller. So if you imagine you've got your curved fret, we've now taken the top off, so we've flattened it. So if you find something that's flat with a round file, eventually those corners are going to move in and meet. So, God, I hope that makes sense. I can't wait to watch this back. Anyway, yeah, so we use this, and yeah, we just file whilst watching that Sharpie. Get a nice there we go. A nice even thin line. Let's see if we can get this up to the camera. I don't know if you can see that on that first fret. Probably not, but there's a very thin black line there now, which means that that fret is crowned well enough to move on to the polish and sanding stage. Once we've done the other 23 frets, of course. If you don't get on with this, which sometimes I don't, I'll be honest, it depends what mood I'm in, you can use your 3-corner. I started using one of these, which is why I like it, because, creature of comforts and old habits die hard and blah, blah, blah. I like it. And the advantage is you can sort of see the line as you're working it, and you can sort of manipulate it a bit. So if I do it with one of these now, just to show you, similar principle, just come at it from both sides, get it to something like. There you go. Like that. As you can tell, that one was a little bit quicker. That fret didn't need quite as much rounding, to be fair. So, make sense? Yeah. There we go. That was relatively painless actually with that one. And that is them now ready for sanding and polishing. Use these because we need a different set of tools. Sandpaper! Yay! So this is my box of random bits of sandpaper. My fret sanding box, as it were. Let's see, some of these have been reused a few times. Gonna start with let's go with a 320. 320. So I've got these little foam back pads. You can use it, any old sandpaper will do. And this is where you need a good strong finger. Beg your pardon. You heard. So all you're doing is you wrap the paper around your finger, and then that you use as your sanding block, as it were. Nice and simple. Like that. But the idea is, I'm moving over like that. Your finger, if that was the fret, say, your finger just sort of, I don't know, drops around the sides and re-rounds, you know, adds to the crown as you sand. That is a terrible, terrible way of describing it. But you get the idea. Yeah, so, yeah, by doing that, your finger rolls over the frets, rounds it over. That's probably the best, easiest way to describe it. Yeah, so just check that you can't see any file marks. There are a few in this one still. There we go. And then we just move up the grits. We'll go 600 after the 320. 600, 1000, 1200. Let's just crack on and see how it goes. There we go. Now we can, at this point, get a little block like so to sand the bevels, make sure I get file marks out of them. Yeah, so on with the block. And just sort of feeling for the bevel. You can move it around and you'll tilt it and pick up the edge of the fretboard, just so you know, like for your reference point. You'll be able to tell in the sound. There we go, and we'll go up again whilst we're still on this grip. There we go. Cool. Give it a quick dust off. Just gets all the grits out of there. And on with 1000. Cool. $1200. Let's go. There we go. And then we'll use a 2000 just to really get the shine going. There we go. Done. Now, polishing. There's obviously always more than one way to skin a cat. Not that I condone skinning cats. Cats are nice, on the whole. However, a popular method is using a Dremel with a little buffing wheel and some compound. I have this, which I use for buffing up bodies when I've sprayed them. Don't use Autosol for that. I use Autosol for this. Put a few dabs on. Spread it out and then and voila. That's just a 3000 grit fine pad, just to finish it off. Good to go. Another thing you could do, you could go right up 2000 grit, 2500, 3000, and eventually stop on this, which is 40 wire wool, the finest you can get. This is great for you know, it gets a really nice shine. You can use it like that, or oh sugar, your individual fret, like so, whichever. That's full of sawdust now. Brilliant. This is also really good at cleaning old manky fretboards and frets. You know, in between string changes, just make sure you tape all the pickups off, because it does sort of disintegrate as you use it, so you end up with lots of little tiny steel filings, which will obviously stick to the magnets of the pickups, which is no good. We don't want that. So take them off if you're going to use it, but it's really good at getting all the grime off, and particularly if you've got rosewood or ebony fretboard, get a really nice sort of luster to the wood, whilst also cleaning the frets. Don't use it if you've got a lacquered maple fretboard or lacquered any other wood fretboard, unless you want to destroy the shine, which is cool. If you like that, if you like shine, don't use that. Yeah, so either or. That's how I used to do it. And then I had the brainwave one day that I could just use the little polisher there to save me a bit of trouble. So there you go. And if you've got nickel frets, you don't really need to go up as high a grit if you're going to polish them either, which is good. Stainless I like to keep going because it's a bit harder, so it's nice just to, you know, to get a good shine if you keep going up through the grits before you polish them. But yeah, like I said, nickel frets you can polish at an earlier stage. Yeah. So that is that. Hopefully you can see them all nice and shiny and rounded. Those sharp bits nice and smooth. Take the tape off. What I should have done really is, which I never do, and then kick myself, is run a piece of tape down the edge of the fretboard, so I can just peel the piece of tape to peel these off. However, it doesn't always work, because when I do the edges, you sometimes go through the tape, which means that happens and the piece is still on the fretboard, which is no problem. We can deal with that. It just slows it down, so I'll speed it up. So hopefully I managed to speed that up in post-production. You're all still with me. No one's gone to sleep. No one's gone to walk the dog because it's more entertaining. So, one guitar with nicely levelled and polished frets. With nice smooth edges. No sharp bits. All ready for final sand and finish, which maybe I'll do more videos on that, who knows. But for now, TTFN. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, because, you know, every one of those will eventually help me get rich. Thank you.